Say it again?
Until we get our midterm.
Okay. What did you guys think of the What's that?
It was pretty hard.
Yeah, what was hard about it?
Questions.
Answering them in the time frame.
Say that again?
Like answering them in the time frame.
Okay. Was it what you expected in terms of the questions that I said that would be on the came?
Yeah.
I didn't need the quadratic. Me either.
Oops.
Okay. But yeah, I tried to make it so that it reflected everything that I said in the multiple choice questions, and just the present value question, the estimating the return association question, and the single question, which was simple. So what I'm going to do is, so we're at the halfway point in the course, and I'm just going to distribute some sheets of paper. I want to get your feedback on the course so far in terms of the lectures, the homework, the assignments, and do you feel like you've been learning? Do you feel like you've been challenged? And so I'll just hand out the sheets of paper and do like 5 minutes, just write your reflections and any recommendations too for the course as well. My view of it is the learning process is a two-way process. It's about sending and receiving. It's about transmitting information to you, and it's also about me understanding how you're receiving that information to incorporate that into what I teach. So for example, like one of the suggestions that I got earlier on in the course was to slow down the pace of the lectures so that people could grasp what was happening during the lectures. And that was a very helpful suggestion because a lot of people thought that. And so the goal for these evaluations really is to get a sense of where you are in the course, what has been working, what's been good, what are some things that we can do differently, and I will take into consideration the feedback that you give me, because I much prefer to hear things now than at the end of the course and say, well, you know, like this aspect of the course, like this was really difficult, or like this was hard, or this I really liked, so that we can change in real time. After that, what I'm going to do is 2 things. So we are going to talk about funding of higher education. And so similarly to what we did with the first day of the course, where we looked at a lot of facts and figures about the returns to schooling, we're going to look at the industry for higher education, trying to understand who are the dominant players in terms of public versus private, for-profit, private, not-for-profit. How does the market break down in terms of the numbers of students that are enrolled in these various institutions? How are each of these schools, how are each of these university types funded? And then what I'll do is I will talk about some projects that I am working in the higher education space. So one of the reasons why I'm very excited to teach this course is because I do a lot of research in education policy, in particular looking at higher education and trying to understand how universities make decisions. And so what I'll do is I'll give you a window into how do you pick a research question, how do you frame that question, how do you begin to answer that question. And that will give you a sense of how the tools that we've learned in this course can be applied to specific policy questions and implemented in that way. How many of you are thinking about doing graduate school, whether it's an MBA or PhD or something like that after, like in the next 5 to 10 years? Okay. Right. And how many of you think you'll be working in an environment where you'll be using your analytical skills to answer questions that your bosses might have? And so this exercise really is going to help you a lot to think about how do you do that. The second half of the course will be a lot more geared towards, so for the first half of the course, it's really been geared towards developing a lot of tools and a lot of techniques. The second half of the course, we're going to be, I'll have you reading more papers and trying to understand, like, what do people say about a lot of these things? What are the discussions looking like? How do you contribute to that? How do you use the policy analysis tools that we've developed in the course so far to be able to answer those questions, right? Because I always want you to be, I want you to be technically strong enough to know that you can do something, and at the same time too, like, mentally sharp enough to know how to use the skills that you've learned in the course. And then after that, I will hand out the midterms at the end of the lecture. Don't be nervous. Don't be nervous. I think that, so Shannon and I talked about the grades and the grading, and I have looked at it, and it was what I expected, and I felt really good about what happened on the midterms. So don't be like worried, don't be stressed out about it. And then what I'll do too is So with one of the courses, Shannon brought this to my attention, there was an error in the homework solution. And so for that particular question, we didn't deduct points if you actually answered the homework, just to be fair to you. But I do have a, so what I did was I created like a derivative of that question, and I just, if we have time at the end of the course, we have to go like 5 minutes to like doing it in class. It's not gonna be graded, but it's just for you to kind of like go through the process. Because the exchange is the following, like we don't penalize you for it, and then at the same time try to make sure that the learning is happening, right? And so that's it. So that's our plan for today's lecture. Any questions before I distribute the sheets of paper for the evaluation? Any questions? Yeah. And this is completely anonymous, so don't put your name on it. I don't want people to feel as if this is going to be used to your own, the way that you were evaluated for the course. Then I just want you to, write honestly about your perspectives on the course. What are the things that you've learned? What are the things that have been helpful? Any suggestions of things that you can use to improve the course? So let's take like 3 to 5 minutes to do that. And then after that, we will jump into the market for higher education.
All right.